Hi everyone, it's Clyde, and I've been making a soapy mess in my soap room, but that's a good thing. I have fun in there. I'm gonna have to clean it out soon though. Just like a soapy mess everywhere. But I wanted to tell you that I'm making my San Diego Golden Avocado soap again, and I've made it many times. It's probably, honestly, the best soap I've ever made as far as how it feels. And a couple of years ago I started to put the little gold on top so that there's that beauty plus the richness of the soap together in one soap. And I thought I'd show you what I'm doing, even though I've done it so many times, because I always play it up a little bit. And what else do I have to tell you? The website is open. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, so go and visit that and let me know what you think of it. And let's get started with the soap making right now. So I want the combination of this coconut milk and the avocado to add up to part of the liquids of my soap. So I made a little bit extra because it's hard to get a lot of that out of the blender, and I want to make sure I have enough total liquids in my soap so it's a nice mild soap. And so that's about a medium avocado, and then my extra coconut milk, I just freeze them in these little cubes, and I find that really convenient for later on when I want a little bit of milk in other soaps, because these are about 1.15 usually ounces, so I can kind of portion that out as I need it really easily just using a whole cube. So I'll blend this up first and then bring you back to the soap making. Okay, so I'm going to soap at about 79 degrees today. The weather cooled down a bit and I melted my coconut milk thoroughly. So I'm going to get my blending of, it's like a puree of avocado there, and coconut milk. Once I combined that and accounted for how much got stuck to the blender blades, I did pretty well. I did make a little bit extra, but I want it to be pretty exact. So I'll show you that. When I re-measured it, I had that much extra, so I could have probably left that, but I didn't. Okay, so I'll blend this up really well, and I did want to get some kale and plain there. Natural color there, but I still have to help it along with the micas because through saponification the natural avocado will brown. Okay, I think we're ready for the lye solution. This recipe tends to get thick, but it does behave. I just can't take my time. And it's a pretty simple design. I haven't really altered it since I first made it. And I'm making it again because I have the new website, and this was, I think, at least for me, one of my best recipes ever, as far as how it works as a soap, how it feels clean, and how it makes your skin feel good. So I thought it was time to make it again. If you look back, you can see my past videos on making this. See, it's kind of turned that kind of green brown color. And this actually, I was really lucky that I made this mix of some fragrances, because avocado really doesn't have too much of a scent of its own, so I made up what I thought would be a good fragrance for it, and it's a really great scent. It's very creamy. Okay, so I am going to pour the colors and blend some more, but it's emulsified right now. My major color is going to be a avocado green, but I like this sort of butterscotch-like yellow-orange too. My old design had more of an orange, but I think that this will suit the avocado look a little bit more. Some dark green. And what are you doing there? That smells good. It's got a strong citrus note to it. Let's stir this one up a little. It's like a brown, dark brown. It's got some green in it too. Here's my mica for the main part. It will combine with the color that the batter became and be a real nice color. You can see how thick this soap is, but that's this recipe. This one, however, is a palm-free recipe. I think you can see how creamy that is. So that's like a medium trace right now. Okay, so it's essentially in the pot swirl, so just getting all this ready. A little bit of that brown. So let's get this yellow in there first. Doesn't matter how it goes in. Some this darker green. Let's give this one more stir. Pour from a high so it goes way in there. And that actually was a little more liquid than my previous times because I have learned to soap a little cooler. Get the darker green back in there first. This is one of those bar tops where, like, the gloppier it is, the better. Just trying to make sure it's covering the top for most of the bars. And I still have my drizzles to do. Let me just make sure that this batter goes to the sides too. Looks good. With my gold mica drizzle. Got some copper too. Gives like a two-tone gold appearance on the top. And last but not least, I'm going to texture the top. Now let me get the dividers in there. Now for a small size bar, these are going to be, I think, one of the heaviest in weight that these bars have been made. So they'll be thicker bars. Make sure these are all pushed in. And there you go. So I'll be taking some pictures of this and we'll come back for the unmolding. Okay, it's early in the morning and I wanted to unmold these avocado soaps. I love this mold too. From Brambleberry. And I know right now that I'm going to let this sit for a couple days because I don't know if you can notice, but it doesn't want to pull away from the sides. So it's best not to wreck a few bars just because I'm kind of anxious to get them out of the mold. So I'll come back and let it set up some more. Okay, it's the next day. Let the soaps cure a little longer. And this soap is still very sticky, and I realize why that's the case, and that's because I didn't put any sodium lactate in this one. So I'm going to just let this sit. And I still want to get a video out, so I'm going to probably very quickly make another soap. Let this sit maybe even a week. Okay. Okay, so this just has to come out of the mold now. I let it sit for a full week. And I think it's because I didn't add my sodium lactate this time. So let this be a good lesson to use that, because it really does help the unmolding. There's sticky soap, so I want to get it out so that it can dry out, and I may have to do some extra beveling with the vegetable peeler and maybe do some planing, which I'm glad I made an extra large batch of this, because then I can clean them up and still have a really decent size bar. So yeah, it's really sticking. What I did several days ago is I pulled the sides away so that air could get around the soap a little bit more. So now it's unmolding on its own. So it's going to be okay. I'm noticing there's not as much soap sticking to the bars. So when this cures, it's going to be a very mild and moisturizing soap because of all the good things in there. There's a little extra shea butter, of course the avocado, plus olive oil and my other oils. So that's why I really should have had the sodium lactate in it. So let me get this pulled off. You can see it pull away. I don't want to force it. Just take my time. And I don't mind having some bars to use myself, so I'll use the ones that don't come out well. Wow, that looks awesome. Sides are like glass. And these smell so awesome. It's a little soft on the sides, so I can plane that. But the bars are fine. I was worried about them at first. And the secret is to pull straight up. But that's actually a lot of surface area where the bars are clinging to the dividers, so I just want to do it slowly. They're really solid. And it just seems more of a beautiful sheen with the copper and gold mic on top. And that one just jumped out of there. So that's good, actually. They're coming out whole. They're just being stubborn. That way they'll have a lot of weight to them. I'm glad I waited a week on these. So sometimes you're tempted to just get your soaps out so you can see what they're like, but it's really worth being patient, especially when you know the soap is a little sticky, because they're perfectly fine. If someone asked me what the best soap that I ever made is, I would say this one, for its all around feel. It's got a great lather. You can just really feel how rich it is. And I've spiced it up through the years. The design, so this is my 2020 version. glass. This will be my bar. It got smushed when I was attempting to take it out. Look at that sheen. Two more. Thanks for watching, and I know I've made some of these before, but I always tweak them, make a little bit different. But I still like to film them because I learn something every time I make soap, so if I learn anything new, I like to pass that on too. In this case, I'm making a little point about sodium lactate, but all's well, and I still end up with a really solid bar. So these will be on the website in about a month, and until that time, hope you're doing well, and checking into my new website and my Instagram, and subscribe if you can here. So we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.